An ethical practice. How do I create an ethical practice? I'm Thomas Darling, and this is my SASW 110 concept map. I'd like to begin with the ideas of oppression and marginalization. These are central themes in the history of disability and in the history of developmental disabilities especially. Misconceptions in media and pop culture, as well as historical injustices, especially segregated classrooms and institutions, have contributed to oppression and marginalization. Now, throughout history, oppression and marginalization have been catalysts for social change, for social movements, and in the context of developmental disabilities, they've led to the community living movement. The community living movement has produced fundamental changes, caused fundamental changes, and I'd like to highlight 3 changes. The movement changed beliefs about the etiology of disability. In the past, disability was viewed from a biomedical model. People with developmental disabilities were viewed as patients who were sick, who were flawed, who were broken, who had something wrong with them. And now we are moving towards a social constructivist model, where we see that people don't have disabilities. Rather, we live in disabling societies, and it is our collective attitudes and our collective beliefs that create disability. A second fundamental change, the movement changed the service delivery model radically. Of course, now there are now 2 agencies. For adults, Crown Corporation is Community Living BC, and for children, the Ministry of Children and Family Development. Excuse my messy printing. So, the movement has produced changes in the beliefs about the causes of disability, changes in the service delivery model, and the movement, finally, most importantly for me, it's changed the role of the support worker. Now, arguably, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, when there were institutions, there were no community support workers because nobody lived in the community. People were institutionalized. Now, why this matters for me, here I am, literally, there's I will, hopefully, one day, take on the role of the support worker. Now, I, being a lowly and flawed human being, will be influenced by my personal beliefs, my personal values, and my personal biases. Now, if I enter into practice blindly without considering the consequences and the limitations of my beliefs, values, and biases, that could lead to unethical practice and further marginalization and oppression. But there's an alternative. If I do become aware of the limitations of my beliefs, values, and biases, that could lead to ethical practice. So the question I posed at the beginning, how do I create ethical practice? How do I ensure ethical practice? I don't know. I'm not sure. But I have a couple of ideas. One, I think it can be attained by following professional codes of ethics, professional codes of conduct, and by developing a reflective practice. A reflective practice which of course involves using that ever so helpful practitioner's triangle, where we incorporate theory, practice, and self. And if I can be reflective, develop reflection as a way of being, and I can follow codes of conduct, ethical practice can be attained.